Hello, my name is Bernie and welcome to Bernie's Studio. In this episode, I'm going to tell you what e-scooters are, where you can ride them, and show you the coolest looking e-scooter out there in Singapore right now. So let's go! This is the Drive S2, and even though it looks like an e-bike, it is not. Rather, it is an e-scooter, and it comes under this categorization of personal mobility devices, together with hoverboards, electric skateboards, and those stand-up e-scooters. So let's go for a ride, and I'll tell you more about it. Okay, let's go. Alright, let's turn this on. Ooh. I'm in mode 1. Okay, prior to July 1st, 2020, there weren't many laws regulating the use of personal mobility devices. So there were quite a few accidents, for example, like speeding on a footpath, modded devices that cause fire. Excuse me. Sorry. That cause fire hazards. So from July 1st, 2020, there are a few regulations being done to control the use of personal mobility devices. For e-scooters, you don't need to pedal. As you can see, both my legs, no, you cannot see. Both my legs are just on step pedals. And I don't need to pedal, I'll just throttle. Look at my right hand. I'm having some throttle here. Alright, now my max speed for mode 1 is 12 kilometers an hour, so not too bad. It's a nice cruising speed. Very nice on flat surface. And maybe a little bit slower if it's a long stretch like this. So let me try to put mode 2. For mode 2, the max speed is, let's see, 20 kilometers an hour. Okay, and it has very strong hydraulic brakes. Look at that, the brakes. Even at mode 2, I can just reduce speed quite immediately. Alright, mode 3. The maximum mode is 3. There's only 3 modes. For 3 modes, I would think that the maximum speed will go to 23. Oh, so only 23, yeah? Okay, let's go to mode 1. Because I'm still getting used to this thing. It's a little bit faster than an e-bike, or maybe I've not been on my e-bike for that long, so I'm just reacquainting with the speed. I'm riding on the PCN, so let me just I can hit right onto let's see, I can hit right onto Robertson Quay, no problem. Okay. There's supposed to be a good... Okay, let's do 2 so that I can climb this. There's supposed to be a good, suspension in the front. But it's still a bit bumpy. The minute I let go of the throttle, the speed is reduced. So that's pretty good control, I feel. So with a combination of the throttle and the brakes, you're able to control your bike pretty decent. If you want a gradual speed increase, you throttle it slowly. If you want a sudden burst, you can do it immediately. This e-scooter has many rules and regulations governing its use and even how it's supposed to be built. So let me just highlight a few for you. The first one is, just like the e-bike, it has to have a maximum weight of 20 kilograms. And I guess that is to ensure that in the event of a collision, it doesn't cause too much damage to people or to property because of the weight. Then secondly, it has to be UL2272 certified, which is different from e-bikes. E-bikes have another standard that they have to adhere to, certification. But this one is UL2272, which I did some research, and apparently it's quite difficult to get, or it's quite a hassle to get. Maybe quite costly as well. So many of the e-scooter manufacturers do not get this certification. But in order to pass as an e-scooter here in Singapore, you have to get this certification. And you have to register it with LTA. And just like the e-bike with an orange tag, for this you have to put the number, the registration number, very visibly on your bike. And you don't have to worry about this because the shop will do that for you. And of course, the maximum speed for the e-scooter is the same as for e-bikes. It is 25 kilometers an hour. And for rules governing the usage, you can only ride on bike paths and PCNs. As you can see, this is already a footpath. The bike path ends there, so let me just ride back. After riding the Drive S2 for about an hour, here are my thoughts about it. Here's what I like. First, it looks great. As much as I like my Eco Drive Classic, I prefer the aesthetics of the Drive S2. It definitely feels more like a motorcycle than a bicycle. Second, it is really easy to operate. Just turn the key, throttle, and you're off. Third, the stability of the scooter. Maybe because it is set lower than a normal bicycle due to the absence of pedals, so it feels more stable and handles better. And now what I don't like. It comes with a built-in battery, so I'm not able to separate the battery from the bike when I want to charge it. This would also mean that I'm not able to carry a spare battery along on my ride. The seat can get a little bit uncomfortable due to its elongated shape, and I felt that it was placed a little too far back for my height. It would be good if I'm able to push the seat a little bit to the front. Now it's time to rate the Drive S2 based on 3 criteria: aesthetics, power and stability, and its practicality for food delivery. For aesthetics, I give it a 5 out of 5. This is probably one of the cooler looking e-scooters that is approved for use in Singapore. It comes in 3 nice colors. This is the metallic blue color. It also comes in 2 other colors, the grey and the matte black. This shape also reminds me of a US company called Super 73. They make really cool looking e-bikes. And though the build of this S2 is not as nice as the Super 73, it's similar enough. Check out the stealth lightning icons on the sides. That is a nice touch. For power and stability, I give it a 4 out of 5. It has good torque and is zippy and nimble. It handles pretty well. The body is set lower to the ground, so it feels quite stable when I make tight turns. The speed tops out at 24 kilometers an hour, but it does feel a bit faster than my e-bike. The front suspension also helps to absorb some of the shocks from uneven surfaces. I like the fat tires, but these can be quite slippery on wet surfaces, so be extra careful. Finally, for practicality for food delivery, I give it a 1 out of 5. Because these can only be ridden on bike paths and PCNs, unless you live in a region of Singapore with full bike path networks, it will be a hassle to be constantly dismounting and pushing your bike on the way to your destination. Although Singapore's bike infrastructure is improving, I don't think we have reached a point where most neighborhoods are accessible by bike. Good examples are Tiong Bahru, River Valley and Orchard areas. There are virtually no bike paths there. It is also a challenge to mount a thermal bag on this e-scooter, and you most likely need to carry a backpack while doing delivery. Although you can still add a small thermal bag in the front to carry either drinks or smaller food stuff. One last thing, the battery capacity is only 12.8 Ah and you're not able to bring an extra battery. So it can be challenging to do a full day shift because there is downtime while waiting for the battery to charge up. This brings the total rating for the Drive S2 to 3.3 out of 5. I love this e-scooter. It rides smooth and it looks super cool, but because of how it is classified as a PMD, the restrictions make it impractical to use it for food delivery. It is, however, perfect for fun weekend rides and daily commutes. If you live right next to a PCN that connects directly to an MRT station or bus stop, this little guy can definitely make your last mile commute a breeze. Let me know in the comments if you would buy this e-scooter and why. Alright guys, so hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe. And hope you have learned a thing or two about e-scooters and that it helps you in your e-scooter buying decision. Okay, bye.